Hi, guys. Okay, one sec. Grumpy, adjust your ears because I just moved the microphone closer to me. I actually saw someone on YouTube the other day. I was watching a video and they have the exact same microphone and they have like peel and stick wallpaper on this part of it. And it looks like cute and designed. And now I feel like I need peel and stick wallpaper in my microphone because, I like white things. This microphone doesn't come in white. So now I kind of want to make it white. Oh, hi, Alice. Hi, Scooter. Hi, Mojave Mike. Hi, Grumpy. Hi, Bombi. Hi, Kelahella. Hi, Kristen. Hi, everybody. Hi, Prexis. Hi, Animal. Hi, Michael Neff. Hi, Morgana Cat. So I have been live very rarely. I do apologize, but if you don't see me live, you can always check the Gaze channel because there are 3 videos with me coming out a week. Right now, hi Judah. Right now, there is an interview that's really good that's on the channel, and there's also a new interview that came out today. So the schedule is going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be news briefs, and Saturdays are going to be interviews. Hi, Frank. Right now, I'm working on getting an interview with a specific unit of foreign fighters, and I want to do so. I think. Yes, Scooter, Gaze. Also, if you go on YouTube, all of the videos are in my community tab, but I realize that very few people see things in the community tab. Ти зараз в Україні, так, в Києві? There are also TU fighter bombers up in the air, so I think we have about an hour before before there's going to be an air raid. So I'm going to try and get everything that I want to fit everything that I want to say in time. So one of the interviews that I'm working on is I want to talk to foreign fighters about the challenges of being a foreign fighter in Ukraine, because I think that most interviews that people do with foreign fighters are always about like courage and how fantastic it is to be a foreign fighter in Ukraine. And I think that also encourages like people that are not prepared for what like awaits them here to come here, and then they end up like leaving. They end up doing some dumb stuff because they don't necessarily know like what it's like to be here. Also, there are lots of like paperwork things that are not ideal because we weren't prepared for such an influx of foreigners. Like because of the war, for instance, if you're a foreigner and you have a Ukrainian bank account, you can send money to Ukrainians with a Ukrainian bank account, but you can't receive money from Ukrainians with a Ukrainian bank account because there are restrictions on how much money you can send out of the country. And the idea is that maybe like Ukrainians would be laundering money. Like, if you want to like leave or something, like you can't spend more than I think $3,000 abroad a month or something like that. I think it's something like that. And like if you were to perpetually send things to foreigners with Ukrainian bank accounts, then you could like technically take more money out of the country. So there is like a whole thing. How do you have such an accent if you're Ukrainian? I don't know. How do English people have English accents? How do Irish people have Irish accents? How do kids who grew up in English speaking countries have accents that sound like I don't know, like they were born there? How do actors copy different accents? Like, I could also speak like this if I wanted to, but I really don't. And that's not really my accent, so I don't use it. But people can sound a lot of different ways. I can also sound like this if I wanted to. I can also like sound like I'm from California. And like, oh my God, honestly, these questions are just like so annoying. Can you stop? Anyways, when's my next vacation? So I've been working a lot. And I've been working a lot behind the scenes. Please, not the vocal fry. I've been, uh, I've been, I've been working a lot behind the scenes, so I don't only record videos these days. I've also been like sort of working on some graphic design stuff and on some behind the scenes stuff, and I'm hoping to produce a little more. So you guys, it's been packed, and I'm hoping to get back to like an every other day schedule, but I don't want to promise you anything and until like September, because since it's like a new thing and I want it to succeed, it's been eating up a lot of my time. And also, there is something else that's about to be eating a lot of my time, and that something else is a cute little puppy named Maeve. Cindy is getting a friend. Um, this is me and Maeve today because I visited her. She's an adorable little bulldog. This might be not the best angle of her. I promise you, she's much cuter than this picture suggests. She's an adorable little creature, and I have a lot of really funny pictures with her. You will be seeing a lot of her probably once she's here, but like, okay, look at this. Look at this creature. Look at this little baby. Look at this little baby. Her name is Maeve. I heard this name in a TV show, and I was like, this is so cute, and I decided to name her Maeve. It later turned out that it's a Gaelic name. Um and it means she who rules, which is so lovely because I already have a creature that rules me. Um no, Cindy hasn't visited her yet because she's 4 months old, and her last shot was on the 13th, which means that she can't really see dogs or go outside yet for 2 weeks, but I'm going to be picking her up like on the 22nd, which means that she's still going to have a couple of days before she can like do all of that stuff. So I'm going to have to like wash Cindy every time I take her out, but that's okay. I ordered like a little puppy playpen because, you know, I want to be able to do work. And yeah. So, yeah, but anyways, I don't want to take too much time talking about personal things today because there are a lot of updates that we need to go through. I have been off of live for a week, but again, if I'm not live and you guys have YouTube on the Gaze Media, Gaze, there are videos of mine coming out every other day, and 2 of them are news briefs and 1 of them are interviews. So this most recent interview that I did actually turned out very different than I expected. There is this guy, his name is Bill Cole, and he used to be just a regular software salesman from California. And then he got very into helping Ukraine, and he's been lobbying with the senators. He's very connected. So he's been like lobbying with the senators, specifically with Lindsey Graham and a lot of other senators. He's from the South originally. To help Ukraine to take off the restrictions. Honestly, he's been to the Congress so many times. Anytime there is like a White House meeting about Ukraine, he's there. And so he has been sort of a business consultant in Ukraine, helping Ukrainian companies to go out into the international market. And one of the fantastic things that he did is Google is donating a bunch of Google goggles, VR goggles, to this company in Ukraine called Aspici. They're a virtual reality company, and they're doing like therapy with soldiers. So those soldiers that have PTSD, one of the supplemental things that they're getting with Aspici is virtual reality therapy. And we were talking about how it also can be and is being used for like phantom limb pain treatment and stuff like that. And also there is certain talk of like virtual reality on the battlefield as well, but we can't really talk about it too much. So we had like this fantastic conversation of how virtual reality is shaping the war in Ukraine and how it can be helpful and like what avenues it can be used in. It was supposed to be a talk about whether the West is doing enough and him sort of sharing his experiences of lobbying for Ukraine and stuff like that. And it ended up being mostly a conversation about virtual reality and the use of virtual reality with Aspici, this Ukrainian company that he's now like an intermittent CEO of. to like help soldiers with PTSD, which is super, super cool, honestly. And so yeah, so I really highly encourage you to go watch that interview. It's on The Gaze, Gaze, on YouTube. I will link it in my link in bio. It's not there yet because I haven't had the time or like really the brain space. I think I do have the time because it takes 5 minutes, but I just don't have the brain space because I forget. And I'm super sorry about it. Also, there is a little fundraiser that I wanted to start today and hopefully end today and order the things today with you on live, because it's genuinely a very small fundraiser. It's an under $300 fundraiser, but it's of something really, really super cool that I really want. Well, actually not, it's under 350, sorry. So I found these drones online and they are $70 each. They are super tiny and they're called micro drones. They're from the UK, from what it looks like. And they're these tiny, tiny little drones that are about this big. They can only fit a camera on them, and they do live streaming of video from that drone camera. So I would say that they could probably be incredibly useful for reconnaissance. Obviously, no one has tried or at least I don't know anyone who has tried these drones yet, because well, so there is a model of this drone. Each drone is $70, and I wanted to get 4 for Chosen Company. Thank you, Extrano. I wanted to get 4 for Chosen Company to test out because they're small, and I mean, like, you can test them out in different situations. The battery on these drones, thank you, Dave. We already have $10. The battery on these drones is pretty weak. It's 300 mAh, but like, to be fair, these are tiny little drones and they would be good for close reconnaissance, like, peeking behind the enemy lines and stuff. And they're $70 a drone. So really, if those get like taken down, which I don't see that happening because they're small, like this is the drone, right? And like, if something happens to them, it's only $70 as opposed to like 1,000, and they're like small. I would say they're like super difficult to take down because of how small they are. They're probably very hard to notice because of how small they are. They come with like a bunch of different gadgets. And they're basically these they're micro drone 2.0 plus from Extreme Flyers. And I think that it's a good thing to check out. I sent it to my friend, and he said that he'd be happy to check it out. They come in like a bunch of different versions. One is without camera for $40, which I don't know why you would need a drone like that without a camera. SD card camera module for $60, which that doesn't work because SD means that you can't see the live recording. Wi-Fi camera module and Wi-Fi HD camera module. And I would say that HD is probably better. So that one is $70. And like, the prices honestly aren't bad at all. So I would like to be able to fundraise for 4 of them. Them little drones. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, they don't have a lot of range, but they're good for like close recon. And like, I would assume that you can buy a bunch of spare batteries and like change them for, and switch them out. But also, like, so Animal is saying, I was going to say 350 mAh. They have to be very small. They will be good for city use or like close recon, like if you are very close to the enemy, you can use these. And like, if someone takes it down, it's like, it's $70. Well, so the 40 is not good for anything because it doesn't have a camera. So the $40 one really doesn't work. So really, the only one out of all of these that does work is the Wi-Fi camera module, which is $65, or the Wi-Fi HD camera module, which is $70. The $40 drone does not have a camera at all. So it makes no sense. And like, they know how to fly drones. So really, for training, that's just a waste of $40, to be honest. But the $70 ones are really reasonably priced. And thank you, James. They're really reasonably priced, and I think those are good. So actually, it is under $300. So 4 of these drones would be $290, $10 of which we have already received to my PayPal. So if you guys want to contribute and you want to buy a tiny little drone for a chosen company to play with and see if it's and see if these would be any good for use on battlefield in like situations of close reconnaissance, you could do so by donating to my PayPal or Venmo, and I will literally, like, I would like to. So the thing is, I would like to buy 4 of them because they're super small, or like 3. I mean, I think 4 is just a good number because it's not it's plenty of drones, and because these are not like super pricey, they can use them in different situations, and a bunch of different guys can test them out and say what they think. Because if these are any good, then $70 is very little for a drone. So the only thing is, because I'm ordering this through Nova Poshta shopping, I'm going to have to pay like a tax on it, and I'm going to have to pay for delivery every single time. So I would like to order all of them together. And if we could at least get 2 today, then I would be able to order them right immediately here. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Well, if you chip in $20, then that would mean that we have $30 altogether, and I'm super happy to order them. To order them by the end of the live if we have enough for like 2 drones, let's say. Because if I just order one, again, like I will have to pay for I would like to order more than one, because I don't think that that's enough for figuring out how things work. Ideally it would be 4, which would put us at $280, right? Because 70 by 4 is 280. But so I would really like to be able to do 4, but 2 is also good. I mean, really anything is good, because I would like them to see if they like it and if it's actually worth it. And if I get 2 or 3 or 4 at the same time, then I pay less of a tax on them, and I pay less for shipping, because paying for shipping for each one of them. And also, like, it takes about, I think from the UK it probably would take about like a week to get here, or like a week and a half. It really depends on the customs and stuff like that. So it's just, ordering them separately just means a lot of different trips to Nova Poshta for the guys. But anyways, if you would like to chip if you would like to chip in for these tiny little drones, you can do so through PayPal or Venmo. I'm going to announce the amount right on live, and we already have $10. So that's that's a good start. So there are a couple of articles that really pissed me off that I have a lot to say about, because, well, Russian propaganda and Russians paying for propaganda never sleeps. So one of these articles is from nowhere other than The Times. Oh, also, thank you, Grumpy. So we are already at $30 for these, which means that in about $40, we will be able to get 1 drone. One sec, sorry. Oh my God. Thank you. Sorry. I don't know why I just said thank you, but hi, Karen. Okay. So basically The Times published this article, which is thank you, September Claire. So actually we have $40. So The Times published this article that is literally just like fear mongering, right? And the article is here. I'm gonna read you. Putin vows to kick enemy out as Ukrainian incursion continues. Thank you, Kevin. So we are at $60, which is $10 away from 1 tiny little drone. Putin vows to kick enemy out as Ukrainian incursion continues. And this article in The Times continues to go on about how, Ukraine really fucked up because Russia is going to be sending a massive attack on Ukraine. And there are going to be hundreds of missiles and, drones and all of this stuff because of the Kursk incursion. And our air defense is going to be overwhelmed, and we should be scared. And like, oh my God, how could we put ourselves in this stupid situation? First of all, this is Russian propaganda, and it's reaction baiting, because we have had attacks with hundreds of missiles. Like, we have that once a month. Okay, like 100 missiles in one night is not something that we haven't seen before. Like, they're trying to they're trying to paint it as if like this massive thing that Russia is going to do that Ukraine has never seen before as retaliation for Kursk. That's like so bad, and oh my god, we like put it upon ourselves. We've had these. We've had many, 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 many of these. Like, for instance, also, thank you, Tim. Oh, so we're at $80, which is one drone and $10. So $60 away from two tiny little drones. So basically, the reason why this is really stupid is because, again, we have seen these attacks multiple times, and this is not something that hasn't like happened to Ukraine before. Yes, air defense is not happy, but it's also not like overwhelmed to the point where like, the entirety of like Kyiv is going to be on fire. Oh my gosh. Wait, thank you. So we do have 2 drones already. We have enough for 2 drones. So, can we get 3 little drones? But we're already good for 2 drones. So if you guys don't know, you can basically, if you would like to contribute, I have PayPal, Venmo, Revolut, literally anything. And I found these tiny little drones because a lot of people had just come in, and I want to send them to my friends at the front to test them out because they're literally tiny. They're like this, and they could be good for reconnaissance. And they're literally $70 each drone. And we had just fundraised for 2. And I would like to send them 4, but also 2 is good as well. But 4 would be fantastic. So, what is your opinion of Ukrainian expedition in Kursk? It's a fantastic move on behalf of Ukraine because it gives us bargaining chips. But anyway, so what they're trying to say is that, like, this is going to be this massive attack that Ukraine has never, ever seen. Thank you so much. I saw. I just talked about it. That Ukraine has never seen before, and it's going to be so bad, and it's going to be so deadly and stuff like that. It's like, it's not. Because, I mean, it's bad. And it's not like, oh my gosh, no, we got into Kursk and this is going to cause this like massive attack. Like Ukraine has been defending itself, and Russia has been doing attacks that are more massive than that. Also, Russian drones now, and it has been proven by researchers from Institute for the Study of War and other academics, that most of Russian missiles that they use now have been manufactured between April and June, or April and July. So they're literally they're producing these missiles and then putting them straight out to hit Ukraine. So they don't have hundreds of missiles. They will have to wait a couple of months before they have hundreds of missiles, unless Iran or North Korea gives them some. So it's like reaction baiting and lies, and definitely Russian propaganda that has been paid for. Another article that really pisses me off, and this one is in the Washington Post. And this article literally says that the Ukrainian incursion in Kursk has made it impossible for the negotiations that Russia and Ukraine were supposed to hold in Qatar about a temporary ceasefire. First of all, it cites anonymous sources about this ceasefire negotiation situation to begin with. Second of all, what fucking temporary ceasefire? Ukraine already had a permanent ceasefire in Minsk 1, and Russia didn't stick to it. Ukraine already had a permanent ceasefire in Minsk 2, and Russia didn't stick to it. Russia doesn't stick to anything. And Ukraine wasn't going to negotiate any temporary ceasefire. And it's not like, oh, Russia decided not to negotiate because Ukraine conducted an incursion on Kursk. No, like Russia wasn't going to negotiate anyway. What was Russia going to negotiate? What ceasefire? Like Russia doesn't want a ceasefire. Russia wants Ukraine to seize our territories to Russia. There is no negotiation. There is Russian demands and Russian blackmail, and there is Russian ultimatums. So this, again, is like Russian propaganda, paid for Russian propaganda. There was never going to be any negotiation on any temporary ceasefire, and Ukraine would never accept any temporary ceasefire because, first of all, Russia would never abide by it. And second of all, that would only give Russia time to arm more and come back stronger. Also, Reb, which links to what? I have PayPal, I have Venmo, I have Revolut. So whichever one of these is the most convenient, Grumpy just posted PayPal right there. But let me know which one of the apps works best for you, and Grumpy or someone will be able to post it in the comments. And thank you so much for contributing to the little tiny drone fundraiser. I also really like that it's a tiny drone fundraiser. It just sounds so cute and funny. Love your hair. Thank you. I've actually been loving the blonde, and this is going to be a deviation from Привет. This is going to be a deviation from the subject, but it's going to be a momentary one. So I never use products in my hair. The only products I ever used in my hair have been like care products. So I don't use like gels and fixation products and like, you know, hair sprays and all that stuff. I never use it. And my hair has always been like very good quality because of that, because I never put any of this like stuff in it, like, you know, holding products and stuff like that. And because I work essentially on TV now, they do hair and makeup every day for me, well, every other day. And they have been putting a lot of hairspray in my hair, and I can already see it drying out and breaking. And I need to do something about it because, first of all, I'm not comfortable with all of these products in my hair to begin with. I also can't wash my hair every day because I never do that. I wash it every like 3 days or 3 to 4 days. My hair does not go like, especially since I dyed it blonde, it doesn't like turn greasy soon or fast. And I'm just like, I don't want this. I don't want it. I am getting hair breakage, and I haven't had hair breakage when I dyed my hair blonde, but now I'm having hair breakage because of fucking hairspray. Like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just gonna, because like, there's no wind. I don't know why I need hairspray to begin with to like fix my hair in place. Like, it's fine. Just use freaking, what's his face? Just use those little like hair clips, the tiny ones. Anyways, hairpins. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I know what mane and tail is, but mane and tail doesn't work for me. I used to use it a long time ago, and mane and tail does not help. Bobby pins, yes. Mane and tail doesn't help with like with over drying your hair. Like, you need to. Oh my gosh, hi Edward. Mane and tail doesn't help with like with the, you know, like the thing about it is like, if you use this much hairspray in your hair as they have been using in mine, because that's like the standard, right? It's just basically drying out your hair, and you need to do like moisturizing masks and stuff like that. But also, like, I'm just not willing to wash my hair every day because that's not good for my hair either. Anyways, all I need to do is just ask them not to use stupid hairspray. That's all. Okay. So, Russia strengthens defense in Kursk region. According to British intelligence, Russia has begun constructing additional defensive positions in the Kursk region after Ukrainian forces breached the border. The British Ministry of Defense reports that Ukrainian troops advanced 10 to 25 kilometers into Russian territory along a 40-kilometer front. The intelligence highlights that Russian defense lines and border troops were unprepared for the Ukrainian operations that took place last week. So, last time someone has gone so deep into Russia were the Nazis in World War II. Let that sink in. The Russian Federation has officially confirmed the destruction of the bridge across the same river in the Kursk region, and not same as in S-A-M-E, same as in same, S-E-I-M. So yes, a very big logistics bridge has been blown up in Kursk, and that is very not good for Russia and very, very good for Ukraine. Look at what that looks like. Such a beautiful picture. I've been loving seeing all of these Russians like yelling and screaming at that, you know, how dare Ukrainians come in and invade their land, and what have they done to deserve it, which is like, really? But also, you know, they're like, oh no, it's so scary because there are all of these military people, and how dare they, blah, blah, blah. Like, why is no one condemning Ukraine for doing this? And it's like, first of all, No one's R-wording you. No one's looting your houses. They're bringing you food and water. No one is torturing you or murdering you just because you're civilians. No one's forcing you to speak Ukrainian. In fact, the armed forces of Ukraine are walking around houses and looking if civilians are there, and they're bringing them food and water. The Russian forces legitimately fled the second that the Ukrainian armed forces broke through, the forces that were supposed to protect them. I've also seen the Ukrainian ombudsman, which I am so not on board with it, say that we are ready to accept Russian refugees. And no, the F we're not. We Ukrainians are really freaking not. Like, we are not on board with accepting Russians fleeing Kursk. What Ukraine can do is we can organize buses and bring them to Russian checkpoints at, the like gray zone border. But no, the F we're not. We are absolutely not accepting Russian refugees because that costs money. Like, we have internally displaced people from Ukraine that need money and housing. Why on earth would we be welcoming Russian refugees from Kursk? I am so not on board with this. And I know that Ukraine is probably doing this because the West is like, oh, you need to take care of these people because they're your responsibility. Well, Ukraine is taking care of them by bringing them food, water, and stuff like that. We can get nice little buses and bring them to Russia. That is their country. But I personally am so against bringing in Russian refugees. First of all, not refugees. Second of all, they are a national security threat. Third, again, we have people in Ukraine that are internally displaced that are still waiting for help and still waiting for housing and still waiting for subsidies. Why on earth would we be spending that money on freaking Russians? What about those that speak Ukrainian? But like, it's a border area. So there are lots of Russians that know how to speak Ukrainian, right? Because it's a border area. But that doesn't make them Ukrainian or well-wishing by any means. They live in Russia. They've always lived in Russia. Like, it's not, it's expensive. It's expensive, and that's not something our government should be spending money on. Again, they can be loaded into buses, comfortable buses, and brought further into Russia. But Ukraine does not need any more freaking Russians on Ukrainian territories to replace displaced Ukrainians. No, I don't care if they know what like how to speak Ukrainian. It's a security threat. They're Russian. Russian attacks on Kherson and Donetsk regions result in casualties. Russian forces targeted a residential building in the Dnipro district of Kherson, injuring a 57-year-old man and a 53-year-old woman. According to the regional military administration, both are receiving medical treatment. In the Donetsk region, Russian shelling in Toretsk claimed the life of one person. Russia has been shelling Toretsk. Russia has been shelling Pokrovsk. Russia has been, Pokrovsk direction has been really, really bad. And I'm really worried about Pokrovsk. There are lots of people in Ukraine that are really worried about what's happening in Donetsk, because while we're making a lot of progress in Kursk, Russia is making some progress in Donetsk, and they're nearing Pokrovsk. And Pokrovsk is a huge logistical center for Ukraine. In fact, some people that are very near and dear to me used to be stationed in Pokrovsk, and both of their bases, their super old base and their previous base, have been completely destroyed, and so were the towns around them. And I mean like level to the ground, like Novoposhtas and little like hot dog stands and whatever. They do not exist anymore. What's the goal of the Kursk incursion? It's bargaining chips. Ukraine is basically acquiring bargaining chips. And if you would like to know more details about the goal of the Kursk incursion, the reason why I was saying that these episodes on the gaze that I do, GAZE media, are very good is because is because I summarize all of these things, and you can go back to them on YouTube and watch them, and they're in a format of like, very rapid fire sort of a news conversation, and with jokes. Like if you've ever watched my briefs before or listened to the brief on as a podcast, this is kind of like amalgamation of both and a mixture without the military stuff, at least for now. So that's what it is. Am I talking from Ukraine? Yes, I am in Ukraine and Kyiv. Also, let me check PayPal to see how many drones we're at. And I'll also check Venmo. So on PayPal, we're still at 2 full drones. And on Venmo, because sometimes I don't get notifications on Venmo, so I have to physically check it. Oh, there was an error. One sec. The heck is an error? Oh, it's because my VPN is off. 1 second. Okay. Seems like nothing in Venmo, which is okay, and Revolut is probably nothing too, because Revolut is the least used platform that I have for donations. Yeah, nothing. So we are 2 full drones. Have I been to Russia? Have I lived there? I've never lived in Russia, and I never wanted to live in Russia, and I never want to live in Russia. I've been to Russia before in transit, but I genuinely never had like any desire to really go to Russia. I don't know, like Ukrainians have always been imposed this idea that Russia is so cool and we have to want to go there in like all of the TV shows and stuff. But I've like always, hi Phil, thank you. But I've like always looked at these TV shows and these movies, and like really nothing was like less attractive to me than Moscow. Like genuinely, I've never ever had a desire to go to Russia. And then I was flying from New York through Moscow to Kyiv. Don't ask. It was like, it's a long story. And I made it to Domodedovo airport and had to pay $30 for a panini that was cold because their panini press wasn't working. $30 for a panini. Like New York is expensive. New York airports are ridiculous, but 30 freaking dollars for a panini and like a cold one is ridiculous. And they also did not take dollars, even though it's an international airport. So I had to go and exchange it for rubles. The exchange thing wasn't working because it was broken, obviously, evidently. So some man exchanged like the $50 for me into rubles from his own pocket, and like with like a ridiculous exchange rate. And I was super hungry, so I went and bought the stupid $30 panini. And honestly, like that solidified it even more that I don't want to go to Russia. Like I never wanted to begin with, and it's not for no particular reason. Like I've just never wanted to. Like Russia never attracted me. I don't know. I mean, it's because like I don't know, all of these TV shows where Ukrainians were being belittled that were shown on our TV that were supposed to show Russia as like better than Ukraine. Like I've traveled a lot since I was a kid, which I'm very, very grateful to my parents for. I've traveled through Europe. I've traveled through like a lot of different countries. I've been to like, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Turkey, I've been to Croatia, I've been to Montenegro, I've been to a lot of different countries that are also not Europe. And I've seen things in the world. And when I was watching Russian TV shows, to me, it just looked like shitty USSR, sorry. And so it wasn't like really nearly as interesting to me as, for instance, like, I don't know, going to Iceland was. So I really never ever wanted to go to Russia because it did not look to me like something worth exploring. It looked to me like, any other city I can find in Ukraine. Like it was not like, oh my God, Moscow. Like it didn't look any cooler than everything that I've already seen in Ukraine. Meanwhile, like, Crete did, like Cyprus did, Italy did, like Reykjavik did, I don't know, Australia did, but like Russia, no. And then I went to Moscow, Domodedovo, and I was like, oh yeah, this is very much Soviet Union. Thank you very much. I really don't want to go here. So yeah, I didn't. Not my thing. Okay. Ukraine has reached pre-war export levels by sea, says Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal, which is very, very important because, well, we took out the Russian Navy from from the Black Sea, and they're now literally forced into Novorossiysk, and they're no longer controlling the waters and no longer blocking Ukrainian ships because Ukraine, a country without the Navy, it had taken out the Russian Navy. More than 2,300 vessels have entered Ukraine's Black Sea ports this year, with cargo turnover exceeding 64 million tons. Nearly 44 million tons of grain have been exported from Ukraine. In the first half of 2024, Ukrainian exporters increased the physical volume of their goods by 35%. This is why one of Ukraine's greatest victories last year was the opening of the sea corridor, he stated. This is very interesting. The U.S. plans to boost production of JASSM and LRASM missiles. The U.S. Department of Defense has allocated approximately $130 million to increase the production of JASSM missiles and LRASM missiles. I'm sure there is a nickname for these that I don't know yet, but please educate me. According to a press release from the department, the work will be carried out in Orlando, Florida, with completion expected by December 15th, 2027. The funds will be directed to Lockheed Martin Missiles and Fire Control to expand production capacity at its Florida facility. LRASM, okay. LRASM and JASSM missiles. Cool. Okay, so the reason why it's interesting is because the US really doesn't need to boost the production of these missiles unless they're either giving Ukraine some missiles or they're giving Ukraine those missiles. So that's an interesting one. And of course, we will take any missiles, especially because I'm pretty sure there's going to be like an air alert in about, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour, because last time I checked, 2 TUs or 3 TUs were up in the air. Well, at 11:35, there were 2 to 3 TUs up in the air in the Russian airspace. TUs carry cruise missiles and ballistic missiles. So it was an hour ago, and that usually means that there are going to be missiles entering Ukraine's airspace at around, what if they got into the air at 11:30, probably around 2 a.m. Right now it's 1 a.m. So yeah, I'm expecting a quite large attack tonight. Russian rocket strikes Sumy, causing fire and damage. In Sumy, a Russian rocket struck a building, causing a fire and leaving significant damage. One person has received medical assistance so far. There are many shattered windows and several cars are on fire. The search for additional victims continues. The operational headquarters for disaster response is being deployed, the regional military administration reported. Oh, yes, Russia is retaliating because of Kursk. That's why Russia is sending missiles. Russia is sending missiles all the time. Yes, we did expect them to ramp it up because of Kursk, but that's who Russia is. That's what Russia does. And Russia is not sending missiles into Kursk, and Russia is not sending missiles into the armed forces of Ukraine. They're sending missiles into Ukrainian civilians. Ukrainian civilians, and Russia is destroying Ukrainian buildings and apartment blocks where people live. Also, here is thing one, a lovely troll over here. Yulia, why are you taking civilian hostages in Kursk? Why are you filming yourselves beating on civilians in Kursk? First of all, no one's doing that. There is a story about a Russian that was humiliated by Ukrainian forces and was beaten by Ukrainian forces. First of all, that man has been proven to be Ukrainian. He was also found in his home alive and well. He has a Ukrainian passport, so there is no point in Ukrainian military to humiliate him. It was actually the Russian military, haha, in Ukrainian uniforms. Funny, right? Yeah, he's alive and well and fine. That was not in Kursk, and no one was doing anything to him. Also, why are you taking civilian hostages in Kursk? We are in fact bringing them water and food, which we don't even have to do, but we do it anyway because we are humane and we are human. Why did you and your country, because I know you're either paid or just, silly enough to do this yourself without being paid, which is even more pathetic. Why did you, essay and murder civilians in Bucha? Why do you continuously keep sending rockets into our apartment buildings? I live right next to the children's hospital that was hit by a Russian missile. And before you say, oh, there was military equipment there, no, the fuck there wasn't. There were kids sick with cancer there, and kids with urinary issues, and kids with oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the word? Kids that needed dialysis. Those kids. That's who Russia was killing. I literally live a block or two away from that hospital, and I felt the blast from that. So why are you doing that? I wonder. Because Ukraine is literally taking Russian territory in order to negotiate our territory back. So yeah, if you wanted to spread some renal issues. So if you wanted to spread some really cheap propaganda, this is probably not the place to do it because I'm not nearly dumb enough to not know what to say. Anyways, come up with something better next time you come over. And if you thought that you can piss me off and make me upset or something like that, also not the place. I love it when Russian trolls show up because that means that I'm doing something good. And that means that my life is being shown to people. And that means that you see me as a threat. So welcome, babies. I do appreciate you here. Anyways, why does MAGA think that anyone not agreeing with them is getting paid ridiculous? Because it's a cult. That's how cults work. They're being imposed an opinion, and that's what they follow. So gentle reminder. Oh, thank you, Tara. Oh my God, that's so funny. So gentle reminder, you guys, we have fundraised for 2 micro drones today, which we have fundraised $150, which is enough for 2 micro drones. If you just made it here, you're going to be like, what the heck is a micro drone and how is it so cheap? So this is a micro drone. And it's a very small drone. It's about this big. It's very hard to take down because it's tiny. It's very hard to notice because it's tiny. It's also very cheap. So if something happens to it, comparatively to other drones, right? So if something happens to it, it's not nearly as big of a deal as something happening to $1,000 drone. And it's a short range drone. So it's very good for like close recon. And it's very good for close recon missions, and I wanted to buy a couple of these drones for my friends in a foreign fighter unit. And so it's a mini spy drone. Yes, it's good. Again, it's good for like close recon situations. And because we've never seen those before, I've sent it to a bunch of people that I know who are both soldiers and just good at technology. And my friends who are soldiers said that they would love to test these out. Their battery is pretty small. It's 300 to 350 mAh. So that means that, they can't fly far away, but again, close reconnaissance operations. And we have fundraised to buy 2 of these. I would love to buy 4 of them. And essentially the deal is that whatever we raise for today is what I'm going to buy at the end of this live on camera, because if I order them multiple times in small batches, then I'm going to have to pay tax on them every single time they make it to Ukraine because I'm ordering them from the UK. And I'm also going to have to pay for shipping every time, which is just not ideal. Thank you, Ariel. So if you would like to contribute to the purchase of these drones, you can do so through my link in bio. There is Revolut, there is Venmo, and there is PayPal. And so far, in order to buy a third drone, we need $60. So I guess like I'll explain this better because I think the way that I said it made no sense in terms of like, basically, if I buy 3 drones in one batch, I'm going to pay less tax than if I buy a drone, right? And also no, not Mavic. These are tiny little drones that are $70 each, and they are close range reconnaissance drones, or they could be. And I'm trying to buy 4 of them to give them to my friends in Chosen Company to test them out. So basically like the reason why I'm saying I'm going to buy the amount of drones that I'm going to buy depends on how much we raise today, because these are, I want them to test them, right? So it's not like I'm trying to fundraise for a lot of those. Oh my gosh. Aw, 60, 69. Thank you, Max Trax. So we actually have 3 drones. So maybe by the end of the live, we will have enough for 4. um, ah, that's so funny. Wait, there is a troll that says, Yulia, you will be tried and convicted for your war crimes. I have already notified the SBU with your channel link. Next month, you will be in chains. First of all, Honey Bunny, it takes the SBU about a year in a lot of cases because they're overwhelmed to find criminals that are like literally like so bad. Second of all, do you understand a war crime? I haven't killed anyone. I haven't done anything. Fundraising for drones for my friends is not a freaking war crime. I mean, like it is a. Also, can you let me know how you notified the SBU with my channel link? Can you tell me how you did that? I'm so curious because I wonder how you somewhere in A, Africa, B, Russia, how did you manage to do that? Please, I'm so curious. Also, oh, now it's oh, sorry. He notified the FSB of my war crimes. I love that you said the SBU first. Are you getting excited, and are you getting oh, you're getting used to Ukraine being in Russia. Oh, that's so nice because he first said the SBU and then he corrected himself to the FSB multiple times. I do love that. I am very, very happy that you are getting used to the idea of SBU on Russian territory. The front line has collapsed. Your army is being overrun right now. Yeah, the front line has collapsed. You are correct. Therefore, Ukraine is currently literally in Russia. Yeah, I mean, good luck. I'm very happy that you have notified the FSB of my YouTube channel. I actually would find that as a personal honor if I was proclaimed to be the enemy of the Russian people. Can I please get that status? You know, like how Russians that like defect or betray, like whatever, like the FSB has a list of people that they like hate, right? Can I please make it there? I would love that. That would be like an honor for me. So if you are going to threaten me with that, can you please at least deliver? Because like I'm too excited. Like if I got a letter in the mail from the FSB saying that I'm like a person of interest, I would literally frame that and have that in my bedroom. I would wake up to it every day. I would love that. Genuinely. Can we please make that happen? Don't threaten me with a good time. Anyways, we just got another 1 second. We just got another donation of $20, which puts us at $50 away from the 4th drone. That's so cool. Okay, Latvian Defense Minister Andris Spruds, the war has returned to its origin. Latvian Defense Minister Andris Spruds commented on the fighting in the Kursk region, viewing the Ukrainian armed forces operations as entirely legitimate acts of self-defense in the struggle for Ukraine's freedom and territorial integrity. Ukrainians have the right to strike within Russia's territory. This is a clear stance of both Latvia and Latvians, as well as my personal position. This reminds Russia of its path towards self-destruction. I said from the beginning that Putin is effectively pregnant with self-destruction. And sooner or later, it will backfire. As President Zelensky accurately noted, the war has returned to where it began. He added that this is also a very important signal that Russia cannot win this war. With the continued support of its allies, Ukraine will inevitably win this war. I'm absolutely certain of it. Regardless of how long it takes, but Ukraine must win, the Latvian defense minister concluded. Reb, I don't know. Sorry, there is I mean, listen, anything that comes out from Latvian or Lithuanian officials' mouths is just phenomenal and fantastic, and they always are so on point. And of course, they're so right. The war has returned to where it originated in Russia, and Russia really didn't expect that. Also, the Russian armed forces are literally leaving their people to their own devices because that's just the essence of Russia. Also, Reb is asking if does Tomorrow Bank work? Okay, I don't know what Tomorrow Bank is, but I haven't received. Well, here are the donations that I received today on PayPal. Did you use PayPal, Venmo? Oh, Monobank. Uh, Wait 1 second. Um, I do have a Monobank, but I do not believe that I have a link to the Monobank in my in my link in bio. Give me 1 second, you guys. I think I really need to update this whole situation. So, 1 sec. Uh 1 second. Dobry wieczór. Beacons.ai /Yewleea. Let me see. Because there is some information that's quite outdated in here, which is not great. But Monobank jar. Okay, so that jar. Uh, huh. Yeah. So because my fundraiser has ended, what you ended up doing is you did donate for drones, but you donated for drones for 53rd Separate Assault Brigade because my fundraiser has ended a while ago. So it basically forwards you to a different fundraiser in the same vein. So it's still for drones, but not for these drones, but still for drones. So the money didn't go anywhere like for any like bad purposes, or you didn't like, send it to someone random. You did end up donating for drones, but just for Mavics and for 53rd Brigade. Also, we just got $50, which means that we are at enough money to buy 4 drones. Well, actually 278.29, but I think I will bear the difference. So let me do this. I'm going to go. I want to buy these drones while we are on live. But what do you think I should do? Should I do it like right now, or should I finish? I think I should finish the news and then yeah, Revolut works great, Nicole. I'm going to finish the news and then we're going to do that. Okay. OpenAI recently announced that it disrupted an Iranian influence operation known as Storm 2035 that used its AI-based chatbot ChatGPT to generate content related to the US presidential election. Surprise, surprise. The content included commentary on candidates from both political sides, which was shared on social media platform. Yeah, thank you, Annette. We are now at 4 drones. OpenAI has blocked the account involved and emphasized that the operation did not achieve significant audience engagement, as most posts received few or no likes, shares, or comments. But it is a very disturbing pattern, and Russia does the same thing. And now Iran is trying to follow Russia's footsteps and do the same thing. We are going to be seeing so much disinformation. I started this live with citing you disinformation from the Times and from the New York Times. Anytime you see big publications citing anonymous sources in their articles, these are likely pay-for publications. So Magda, I don't know. It's probably like I will know in a second. I will let you know in like a tiny little second because I'm just going to I'm going to put it in order. I mean, in like probably 10 minutes when I'm done with the news. German ambassador comments on Ukraine's negotiations with Russia. And this is a good one. The Russian side currently shows no willingness to negotiate and continues to insist on inflated preconditions, stated the German ambassador. So yeah, the entirety of the like Washington Post citing that Ukraine ruined the possibility of negotiations of a ceasefire with Russia by the Kursk incursion. Like there was never a possibility of that ceasefire to begin with. Lambsdorff also remarked, the operations of the Ukrainian defenders in the Kursk region are making Russia nervous. The success of the Ukrainians came as an unpleasant surprise to Russian border troops, intelligence services, military, and even the general population. Russia's unwillingness to negotiate has nothing to do with Kursk. It's always been there, and Russia has always been unwilling to negotiate. Russia has only been willing to blackmail Ukraine and give us ultimatums, plain and simple. Sumy military administration shares videos of aftermath of Russian attack. A Russian missile attack on Sumy caused damage to 5 houses and 15 cars, according to a video released by the Sumy city military administration. Alexei Drozdenko, head of the Sumy city military administration, reported that the Russians launched an Iskander-K missile at the city in the morning, striking the yard between 2 high-rise buildings. So far, more than 150 apartments have submitted applications for restoration, and we expect to continue receiving requests for at least 2 more days, Drozdenko stated. This is what it looks like. 150 apartments. That's like at least 300 people without homes. Yeah, it is always Ukraine that ruins negotiations, never Russia. It's also Ukraine's fault that, Russia attacked. It's always Ukraine's fault, which is why the thumbnail for this live is just blame Ukraine. And also, so this is the video that I really wanted to show you, which is Russian disinformation. The elderly man from Russian propaganda reports is alive. He's not a Russian. Recently, Russian propaganda actively spread a video allegedly showing Ukrainian soldiers wearing helmets with Nazi symbols and humiliating an elderly man in the area of military operation in the Kursk region. The Russian media accused the Ukrainian military of killing him. Russians even opened a criminal investigation into the disappearance and alleged murder of the elderly man. Having verified the information with the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine, the Center for Countering Disinformation reports that the man who was allegedly abused by the Ukrainian military has been found. He is in his home, alive and well. Moreover, it was found that the man is a citizen of Ukraine. Russian propaganda is once again cynically using civilians to spread its lies and intensify its manipulations. We urge you to trust only verified sources of information and not to fall for enemies' manipulations.
Доброго дня. Ви українську розумієте? Як вас звати? Олександр. Скажіть, яке сьогодні число? 17 августа. У серпні. Зараз з вами в якому стані? У вас все в порядку? Я вас так познімаю, що тут веселе місце, це видно. Ви живий, здоровий? Слава Богу. Не голодний, травмувань немає, нічого. Ображали вас, не ображали, щось якусь образу.
So yeah, this is, the man, and he's fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, Ukraine caused the dinosaurs to go extinct. We're also to blame for tectonic plates movements, just the whole 9 yards. Thanks to the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, electricity supply has been restored for 27,500 people in Sumy and Mykolaiv, Miss Bridget Brink, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, notified. Prosecutor General Office launches investigation into distribution of a video showing beheading of a Ukrainian defender. The Prosecutor General's Office has initiated a pre-trial investigation into the violation of laws and customs of war, combined with intentional murder under Part 2 of Article 438 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. Hi, Debbie. As part of the investigation, law enforcement officers are conducting urgent investigative actions to verify the information released by the enemy and the circumstances surrounding it. Sorry. The distribution of such a video by representatives of the Russian Federation once again demonstrates their complete disregard for the norms and principles of international humanitarian law, the statement reads, which is like horrendous. I'm sure you know which video I'm referring to. It's the video where Russians dismembered a Ukrainian soldier, and it was horrific. I mean, we've seen those types of videos so many times. They're awful, and I don't know. I mean, I personally couldn't watch it. It was too much. But not the first time that Russia has done it. Russia consistently castrates Ukrainian POWs. And honestly, the media is not talking about it nearly as much as it actually happens because the media doesn't necessarily want, these guys also don't want the people to know how often it happens, because it's not something they want people to constantly associate with them. Okay, so I'm going to add 4 of these drones to cart. 1, 2, 3, 4. Update cart. Okay, so $280. But I want to see if I can I do this on the... Okay, what if I do United Kingdom? Sorry. Because I would rather... But if I do it from the United Kingdom, it's 280 pounds. But what if I do it from Europe? Let's say it's like France or something. Because it's just like easy. It's faster if I do it from France or from somewhere like in Europe. Okay, so France is still $280. Fantastic. So we're going to do it here. I am going to tell you what taxes. Hi, Chris. What the tax is going to be like, but just give me a second. Oh, 0. Cool. I need to look up on Nova Poshta what address to send it to, because they come to Ukraine through Nova Poshta. Okay, so 1 second. I want to... Oh, thank you, Mariana. Oh, good to see you. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Okay, no, I need France. Where is it? France. Okay. 27 Avenue, Notre Dame. Sorry, you guys, give me 1 second. Okay. 1 sec. 050153. Okay, cool. Company optional Nova Post. Okay, why do you believe Ukrainian are they being released afterwards? Yes, there are. Why do I believe? They are in fact being well, some of them are released. Okay, so in total, after so it's $280 altogether. I do have $278.29 on my PayPal, and I believe the taxes on this are going to be for entering Ukraine are going to be about $28 as well. So it's about $310 altogether, because usually it's like around 10% after all is said and done. So let me. So here is one little thing. I would like to purchase this through PayPal for security. So, and it is $280 flat, and I cannot send myself $2. And if I deposit this on my card, unless I deposit it with like a 1 to 3 day whatever, it's going to take commission. So if anyone would like to contribute $2 to even it out to $280, I will be so incredibly grateful. So I don't have to do like a bunch of sending of things back and forth. But yes, if I order it from France, it is $280 flat. $269. Yeah. Well, literally $2 will put me over $280. Oh. Thank you, Jason. Okay. Well, so we're there. Okay, wallet. And I'm going to show you the receipt. Thank you. I'm going to show you the receipt in a second. Let me just put in my card without showing it, without exposing it to the internet. Okay. Yeah. Face ID. Yes. So 43. Also, sorry, you guys on YouTube. I might have been ignoring you for a little bit. I don't mean to. I'm just trying to finish with the drone checkout, and then I'm all ears and all eyes. Okay. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Security code 806. No. Billing address, United States. First name. Oh, you guys, thank you. Okay, I think I have enough for taxes too. Phone optional, don't need review order. Okay. Oh, phone. Oh, 1 sec. No, I don't want to save the card. Go back to France and its phone number. +33. Okay, cool. So, review order. Pay now. Okay. All right. So here, you guys on TikTok. Let me show you. Okay, so here is the drones. Here is the what's its face? Here is the confirmation of purchase. And I figured this is the best way to do these things because I'm so ADHD, I always forget to post receipts. And yeah, of course, Doug, you can. Literally anything works. But let me show you, because I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to show my name, so here is what I'm gonna do. I would much rather, one second. I'm trying to like show you guys on YouTube as well, but you know what? I'm just going to take a screenshot and I'm going to post it in the community tab because that is probably a better idea than me showing you my freaking community. Okay, cool. So if you want to see the receipt for the drones, I just took a screenshot. From today's live. Check them out here if you'd like. Okay, let me see. I want to also put the link to the thing so you can check them out if you're interested, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be interested. Okay, here. So, visibility public post. It's right there. Should be right there. Okay, so where are you guys? Alrighty, I'm back. Don't forget to like the live and leave a comment. Yeah, don't forget to do that. Okay, well, so okay, but some of the numbers, Nicole, I literally, you heard probably like 8 out of 16. I know I said that I like caught myself on doing that. Also, this is not, it's a PayPal card and its number changes. So it's really like a disposable internet, like it's a one-time shopping card. So it really doesn't do anything to anyone because I'm going to like, it's not going to exist after this purchase. So no worries. But thank you for, oh, thank you, Graham. I really appreciate that. Oh, I do love that Russian trolls started like, inventing more exciting names. Here's the thing. If a Russian troll calls me calls me a horse face or something like that, or like says some insulting things, I am actually flattered. Because whenever Russians or Russian trolls or Russian sympathizers think I'm like ugly, or like call me a cat lady or a housewife in my 30s, or like, whatever, like it's flattering. Because it's like if I annoy you and piss you off and you find me disgusting, I love that. Red or green borscht? Green, actually. I really like green borscht. Oh yeah. No, I know. I'm really I'm thankful to you, Nicole. That's very sweet of you. I'm like actually, it's very nice. The only reason I was like I was saying all of these things is because it's what's its face. I am. If you're a horse, I need to invest in the queens. Oh my god, that's really funny. But yeah, the only reason I was saying that is because that card is like anytime I do any like shopping online, I usually use those like one-time disposable cards. Like you can Revolut has those. You can make them every time for every purchase. So does PayPal. And Monobank, like your card security number or security pin changes every time you make a purchase. So it's like, was not meant for you, was meant for Davros. I'm not even sure what's happening here. But with that comment, even if it wasn't meant for me, I still stand by the fact that if someone is trying to say that I look awful, or they don't like me, or I'm a single housewife or something like that, um I love it. I love when trolls try to offend me. I also find it so funny. Like, someone commented on one of my videos on the gays, GAZE. Oh my gosh, I always have to like make sure that I explain it. But someone commented on my video and said something along the lines of like, is this what like lonely housewives in their 30s look like, or is that what how oh, is that what an American housewife in their 30s looks like? And I'm like, well, I mean, duh, you would need some assistance in figuring out what a woman looks like because you haven't seen one. But yeah, I mean, maybe there are lots of different. There are lots of different. Single housewife is a head scratcher. I know, right? What an oxymoron. But there are lots of different looks to American women and American housewives. But also, like, is that what a man who lives in their mom's basement and has never seen a woman sounds like? Because also, like, why do people think that like single is an insult? Like, I've been single by choice many times in my life. And in fact, in a lot of situations, I've actually preferred it because I have a really hard time sort of like, I'm kind of like either all in or all out. And in a lot of cases, when I don't have the bandwidth for it, I literally like a relationship is too much burden and effort. And also, I prefer relationships in which, if you guys have followed me since like the beginning, you know that my perfect relationship is when a man is like not here half the time, and that is literally not because of anything, but the fact that I love my personal space. And so I really prefer I really prefer it sometimes to like not have a man anywhere around, because I feel like explaining to someone like, "Hey, I really like you. I like sometimes, it could be a person I love, but it's like I don't want you here 24/7, and I don't know how to explain it, because for me it works a lot better and our relationship is going to have much longer longevity if you're here uh like less than you would like to be here." And I really have kind of like jinxed myself, right? And ended up in a relationship this time where uh he's never here. and and I'm like, okay, not this much, but hey, there's good reasoning for it. But anyways, it's a lot of marriages keep the faith. But yeah, I just like find it so like annoying that people like to call women single as an insult. It's like, vibes. A lot of us prefer to be single. You know why? Because a lot of men are like that person who commented that. It's like, being single is not an insult sometimes. Being single is never an insult. Being single is a blessing. Yeah. And it's for some reason, like, calling a man single is like not an insult, but calling a woman single is somehow an insult. Like, we choose to be single equally as often as men do because some men are intolerable, and it's sometimes much more comfortable to be single. But uh anyways, they say most women are happier and healthier single. I mean, I don't know about that. But like, you know, it depends on like what kind of, some relationships are also good, but like the point is that like I've chosen to be single at many different points in my life. And I find it super funny when some troll is like, "Oh, is that what a single like woman in her 30s looks like?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, am I supposed to be offended? I don't know. Um Also, Armin's quote of the day is up. So, mankind is composed of two sorts of men: those who love and create, and those who hate and destroy. Jose Marti. Internet trolls are an example of the second sort of people described by Marti. I think is it Marti? Maybe is it Marti? But yeah, that's a very good quote. Wait. Matt45 Williams says, "Okay, gotta ask this. How hard does your Ukrainian mom bug you for being single? Honest question. I am not single. And my mom doesn't bug me because my mother is not your typical Ukrainian mother that's all up in your business for no reason. I am actually very lucky in this type of way because my mom is more of a friend in terms of like relationship stuff than she is your typical Eastern European housewife. My parents are divorced. My parents are young. My parents are hip. My parents are not your typical parents. Also, my mom literally never bugs me for being single. The only person who ever bugged me was my grandma, but she's your, like stereotype of like the person who thinks that like all men are supposed to be in love with you, and it just can't be that you're single because everyone should just love you. But my mom literally never bugs me, and my dad never bugs me, and no one in my family ever goes like, "When are you gonna have kids?" Like, I've set a boundary very early on where like I'm not a baby making mechanism, and my family also knows better, and none of them are stuck in cave ages to like consistently keep doing that. And again, not single. So, but even when I was, no one ever bugs me. Like, my family asks me about my relationships. They ask me if I'm happy. My dad will make fun of me sometimes and be like, "Oh my gosh, you want two French bulldogs. Like, how are you going to get married with two French bulldogs at age of 30?" And I'm like, "Oh no, how is that going to happen?" But he does it as a joke. Like, he said that once probably, but he doesn't bug me either. No one bugs me. I know that I'm putting so much time and effort into it, but I just like really want to make a point here that like I think that this idea of a Ukrainian mom that you have is very outdated, and that was the case a while ago. But I don't think most Ukrainian moms are like that anymore. Like, I think my mom's and my dad's generation of people do not freaking bug you for being single because they know better, because they know that we're like, millennials raised on the internet, and we're just not going to, we're going to stop picking up their calls if they're being annoying. But yeah, I'm lucky. My family is very good. They don't bug me about anything. They really try not to bug me about like I set up boundaries, and they understand boundaries in certain ways. In certain ways they don't, in certain ways they do. But yeah, at no point in life when I was single would my parents be like, "Why are you single?" They'd be like, "Enjoy life, like you're, you know, like like you'll have time in your life to find it to like, date someone or like whatever." But yeah, my mom literally also my mom is divorced with my dad, and she like her entire motto was like men are useless, so she is very keen on the whole like women empowerment, go do whatever you want to do kind of thing. So I think she would bug me, she bugs me more about not being single than single. Have Ukraine heard Ukraine is one of the greatest IT resources in Europe? Yeah, from me quite a few times. Kids are not for everyone. All of mine are a blessing, but if my wife said she was pregnant again, I'd go lay down in the street. Yeah, that's like the thing, like I don't want children ever. Like, okay, that was like a hard blow for my parents because they just didn't expect it, right? Like my dad is the one who was who was taking it a lot harder than my mom, but it was for like all the selfish reasons, right? My dad is like, "What do you mean? So our line is not going to be extended. So I have to go have a kid now." And I'm like, yeah, go have a kid. He now calls me and tells me that he's now forced to have a second child because he doesn't want our bloodline to die with his brother's children. He hates his brother. They have a very terrible relationship. And to be fair, I do understand him. My uncle is like the most. We're not even going to talk about it. But he now says that I have forced him to consider having another child. And I'm like, fantastic. I've always wanted a brother or a sister, so please go ahead. I would love a brother or a sister 30 years younger than me. I'm not even kidding. Like, I would love that. Because I don't want my own kids, so I get to like babysit and return them to sender whenever possible. So I'm like, yes, cool, you go do that. I love that idea. I don't know why you're saying it as a threat. I love it. But anyways, that explains a lot. What does it explain? But yeah. So I am forced. Yeah, exactly, forced, because my dad can be forced to do anything. I mean, if you have watched me for long enough and you get my personality, I will say that I am my dad's daughter. Like, most of my personality is my dad. I have only a few things from my mom. So it's like, if you've met me, my dad can be forced to do anything. Nah. But anyways, okay, you guys, it is almost it's 1:30, and I think it's time for me to go to bed. Thank you. I will try to do lives more often once my schedule evens out a little bit. But in the meanwhile, if I'm not live, go check out the GAZE channel on YouTube, The Gaze. And I'm there 3 times a week with news briefs and interviews. And there is a fantastic interview about virtual reality in Ukraine and how soldiers interact with it. Okay. See you guys soon. Bye. Bye.